Today, I am going to answer the number one question everyone has in real estate. Is now a good time to buy a home in Calgary? Now, you might be thinking the answer is obvious, with things like a potential upcoming recession in some markets, how in the last 9 months we've seen real estate markets completely flip. We have prices coming down, we have sales volume decreasing. Throw on top of that interest rates are still on the rise. Bank of Canada just increased rates by 50 points last month. There, it's obvious. We answered it, right? No, you should wait. Shouldn't do it now. Okay, answered the question. Yeah, that's it. Guess that's all. Today, we are gonna dig past the headlines. We're gonna take a look at some real data, some economic trends, and some market principles to help guide you to your decision based on your situation. Because the reality is, for some of you, you should not be investing in real estate right now. But for others, you should be acting now and searching for your next home. The key is you need to consider a few important details before you get started. And finally, I'm gonna share with all of you sitting on the sidelines saying, I'm gonna wait, I'm gonna time the bottom of the market as to why you won't be successful because you're not gonna have the data you need to do it. And even if you did have that data, even if you had everything you needed, you probably wouldn't act on it anyways. We'll cover all of that today, so let's get into it. Is now a good time to be buying in Calgary? Hello everyone, my name is Ryan Preuter and I'm a realtor here in Calgary. On this channel, we cover all things Calgary real estate. We've got some amazing property tour videos coming up soon. We have more videos like these as well, giving you the insight you crave so you can feel confident in your next move. So if you enjoy this, hit that subscribe button, click that bell so you don't miss anything. Now let's get into it. So who shouldn't be buying right now? Well, number one, if you're going to be stretching yourself thin financially in order to buy a new home, then now is not a good time. Inflation is having a huge impact on the affordability of living, and it isn't going to just suddenly disappear. Let's say we continue to see inflation rates sit at 4, 5, maybe 6% going through 2023, and your wages don't increase to offset that increased cost of living. Adding the cost of a new home on top of all of that, it's just gonna make your life harder. Nobody wants to be house poor, and nobody wants to be dealing with additional financial stress. Number two, if you're worried about your job security right now, then you should not be buying a home either. The reality is, moving is expensive. Buying a house has a lot of costs to it, and they add up pretty quickly. Hiring movers is a huge expense on its own, plus you're gonna have fees tied to the transaction. You're going to have to pay a lawyer. You might even have fees tied to breaking your mortgage early or issues getting out of your lease. Those costs, they can add up to 4 to 5% of the property value pretty easily, and that is not something you want to be taking on if you're concerned about your job. Now, job security ties into the greater picture here, which is a concern about a recession. This recession feels like it's been scripted at this point. Honestly, it's all we've heard about for the past year. So let's say it does happen, but you're still interested in investing in real estate right now. How do you go about it? Well, if you are ready to act right now, it's about executing your plan, sticking to your non-negotiables, sticking to your budget, that's honestly one of the biggest ones, working with someone you trust, and patience. Inventory is tight, there's not a lot available, it may take some time to find the right home, but if you're patient, things are going to work out. But if you're not ready to act right now, then you don't want to rush. The last thing you want to do is make a panicked decision that you're going to end up regretting. Instead, you want to use this time to build out your plan. So if it were me, I'd be building a budget, I'd be cutting down on smaller expenses, I'd be limiting the luxuries that I don't use very often, and I'd be putting together an emergency fund. Now these steps, they sound boring and they're limiting, but if you really have a goal of owning a home this year, then these steps are gonna help you get there. In the process, you're gonna be saving for your down payment, you're gonna be positioning yourself better financially, heck, you might even get a better mortgage rate when the time comes, and most importantly, you're gonna be setting yourself up to feel in control of the situation and prepared for when you are ready to buy. Now, unlike most recessions, we have a terrific labor market across all of Canada. And here in Alberta, things look even better. So you may actually find yourself in an opportunity where you can find a better paying job and improve your situation despite us facing recessionary headwinds. And that brings us to who should be buying right now. If you're someone with good job security, you have your debt levels under control, and you won't be overextended by purchasing a new property, then now might be a great time for you to buy. But why, you ask? Well, first, rents here in Calgary have skyrocketed. We've seen rents increase by as much as 30%, so for some of you, it may actually be more affordable to buy and own than it is to rent. Secondly, houses have become a little bit more affordable now than they were 6 to 9 months ago. Now, it's not a big amount, I don't want you to think that, but you will be in a market with way less competition. And competition was one of the biggest factors driving price increases. Less competition also means you'll have more time to review properties, you'll be able to negotiate more favorable terms, two things that weren't even remote possibilities for buyers 9 months ago. And third is Calgary's affordability. Now, this is something that us Calgarians tend to take for granted, is just how affordable housing is here. In a lot of other major cities, you're still looking at spending well over $1 million for a detached home, whereas here in Calgary, our benchmark price for a detached home still sits just over $600,000. We've been ranked as one of the most affordable cities on the planet, and we have the highest household income in the country. So when you put that all together, you can actually build your life here in Calgary. You can pursue your dream of home ownership, you can start a family knowing you can support them, and you'll have cash left over to actually enjoy your life. It only takes about 31% of your income on average to own a home here in Calgary, whereas in cities like Vancouver and Toronto, you're spending 96% and 85% of your income just to keep a roof over your head. And it's for these reasons that you're not the only one thinking of making a move here. We are seeing a big increase in the number of people wanting to move to Alberta, and especially Calgary, thanks to our affordability, high-paying jobs, helping us rank third in the world. Now, this isn't just a headline thing either. We're actually seeing it in the data. We have more buyers than sellers in the market, and it's putting us in an inventory crunch. And that matters because with a limited number of homes for sale, we're not going to see prices decline very much. Now, you may be thinking, he's a realtor, he's just trying to sell me something, he's trying to convince me to buy right now, but the reality is, I'm not. Real estate is a service business, not a sales business, and I really pride myself on being a trusted advisor to my clients, someone they can really rely on, and ensuring their needs are always put first. So if you're not ready to buy right now, that is totally fine. You should not feel pressured to make a move right now at all. But since you're watching this, you're likely thinking of making a move sometime soon. And it's fantastic that you're doing your research, you're starting to build your plan, and you're preparing for when you are ready. And if you'd like some help with that, please reach out. I'd be happy to help. And if you are someone who is ready to buy, well, hey, give me a call. I'd love to chat. Now let's talk about predicting price declines or market crashes or really any other variable that you're waiting on before you take action. Now, to really give this some framework, let's jump back to January 2020. The world is normal, everyone's excited, it's a brand new year, and then boom, global pandemic hits. Stimulus is pumped into the economy, and interest rates plummet and house prices take off as people take advantage of crazy low rates. Then we start to see supply chain woes in all sorts of markets, and then a ship beaches itself in the Suez Canal and halts global trade and exponentially increases supply chain issues. Then we see inflation take off and central banks have to flip the script, interest rates start getting pumped up, and housing markets start to tumble all over North America. Oh, and did I mention a war between Russia and the Ukraine broke out? Now, who could have predicted all of this in just the past 3 years? And yes, I understand we're talking about housing markets in comparison to global scale events. I get it. But the point I'm trying to make here is in a world where things are so unpredictable and they're so intertwined, your ability to accurately predict anything on this scale is nearly impossible. Now, what about the data though? If you had the data, you could time it, right? Well, unfortunately, no, you likely couldn't, because housing is a lagging indicator, which means the data, the trends that we work with are 60 to 90 days in the past. So once the data shows we're at the bottom, you've already missed it. Now, let's say you did time it. Would you really have the confidence to act on it then? Again, you're likely not going to, and that's just human nature. We are hardwired to be terrified of making a mistake. You'd be the only one saying it's the bottom. Everyone around you would be saying, no way. Instead, you'd likely end up buying on the way up, and you'd miss out on all those deals you've been chasing the whole time. So that's why it's a much better approach to review your situation and ask yourself, do I really need to make a move right now? Am I financially ready? Am I emotionally ready for this? And what do my next 5 years look like? So that's it for this one. What are your thoughts? Are you starting to build your plan? If you have any questions, please reach out or throw them in the comments below. I'll be sure to get in touch. And until next time, we're out.